Hi everyone, my name is Grace and welcome to this episode of Gracie, the Kenyan Diaspora and Returnee. For those of you who are listening to us for the first time, we're so glad that you've joined us. This podcast is a forum for discussing everything diaspora and life as a returnee. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend, Mukami, who shared her diaspora experience in the last episode, and today she'll be sharing her returnee experience. Hi, Mukami.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Welcome to this podcast.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
You're welcome. So let's just get right into it. In the last episode, you mentioned to us that you moved back about 9 years ago after being in the US for about 23 years. So for the benefit of the guests who didn't listen to that podcast, and we really hope you catch up, but why did you return home after being away for so long?
So yes, just to give a bit of the background, I left Kenya when I was 9 and then lived in Canada for 25 years.
Okay.
And then at 32, I decided to come back.
Yeah.
The reason I decided to come back, there isn't really a clear reason. I just got tired. I was never planning on coming back. I never expected it. I was Canadian.
Right.
Yeah.
Really.
And I just got tired of the winters, the corporate culture,
Okay.
the life there. I just hit a wall and I was like, I'm done. So that's it.
And then you came home. Did you
Yeah.
come home by yourself? Did you have family or?
I came home just by myself.
Okay.
My immediate family, which most of them still live in Canada, thought I was crazy because I've been away for so long.
Yes.
But it wasn't a group decision.
Right.
I just decided that I was going to come back. I was single, so I didn't have to consult with anybody else.
Yes.
And that was it.
Yeah. And did you used to come home before then, at least visit Kenya, or this was your first time in Kenya since when you were 9?
I think I visited 3 times
Oh, wow.
in 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I was a constant,
Yeah.
visitor. I wasn't, a constant summer bunny. I just came.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what's interesting about this podcast, and as we bring more guests in, is hearing people's different reasons for going away and then why they returned.
Exactly.
But I can relate with you on the coming back without like a clear reason.
Yeah.
Because I also remember when I was ready to come back, I just talked to a career coach who prepped me a little bit, and then I came back. And at the time, if someone would have asked me, why did you come back from the US after being there for 15 and a half years? I really didn't have a clear reason.
Exactly.
I just felt like it was time to come.
Yeah. It was similar with me too. I just had a moment where I was like, I'm done. And I asked myself, I need to change my life.
Yeah.
What can I change that would make such an impact? And I was like, I think I initially thought I was just going to come and visit Kenya.
Yes.
And maybe try it out for 3 years.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because that was also my thought. I resigned from my job. I was in banking back there too. I resigned from the job and I came back thinking it was just going to be a sabbatical.
Exactly.
And I remember telling myself, well, I'm a dual citizen. So if it goes bad here, I'll just turn around and continue banking there.
Yeah.
Wow. So what kind of preparation did you make before coming?
So I had a lot of friends who were Kenyans who had gone to Canada and the US for school and then they'd stayed there. So I had people who were a little bit, who hadn't spent 25 years abroad, who had been there for like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So I used to kind of keep in touch with them and hear, really kind of learn from them what Kenya is like. I also had a really good friend who works in Kenya part-time or back and forth throughout the continent, who was the one who was probably most recently back to Kenya. And I really asked her, how much does it take to survive? What do you think is a good budget? Is this idea crazy?
Yeah.
And she encouraged me because she could see modern Kenya and she said, no, it's really doable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did you prepare in advance?
It took me exactly 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I told myself it was, I looked at the date on the calendar and I said, I want to be out of here in 6 months. Initially, I wanted a job when coming back because I thought that would be, the better landing.
Yeah.
But in 6 months, I rented out my condo, moved back in with my mom, saved the money.
Yes. To come.
To come. And boarded a plane and came.
Yeah. But at least you tried looking for jobs, you stayed, right?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult because I was in corporate retail,
Mm-hmm.
and that industry isn't really here.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't there at that time, and it's still really not here.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I would have to use my transferable skills,
Mm-hmm.
but the barrier in Kenya is that if you don't have an advanced degree, if you don't have a master's,
Yes.
it's very difficult for people to think that you're competent.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because many people here had to take that advanced degree because the unemployment rate is so high.
Exactly.
I remember it was one of the reasons why I went to the US after finishing my undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
is because we had all finished, the unemployment rate was so high, and I thought maybe if I get an MBA, it will make me more competitive in the market.
Exactly.
But everyone else was doing the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting you say that for you, looking for a job in Kenya while away was challenging because of what the skill set you had there, the
Yes.
kind of work you were doing. But we also have mutual friends who have tried to prepare ahead of time and are in industries that are easy here or
Mhm.
are common here.
Mhm.
And they've also struggled.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, you can't just go online on Indeed and look for
Mhm.
jobs in Kenya.
Yes.
It's still, people need to meet people. The
Yes.
information you're looking for has to be very, given face to face.
Mhm.
It's really, really hard. You can apply on a website, but you have no confidence that
Yes.
someone is actually looking at that,
It's
you know?
true.
Yeah.
It's true. In fact, I did look at jobs before I came, and I remember that was one of the main differences. So, even the way the resumes or the CVs look here
Yes.
are different, because here people will put in their demographics like male, female, marital status,
Yeah.
religion. Oh my
things-
God, date of birth. What? Yes, I don't understand that. And then now you have a local address, but then the thing is, what phone number do you put should you be called?
Exactly.
Because you're on the other side.
And this was before WhatsApp.
Yes.
So it's not like we could very quickly communicate with people here.
Yes.
You know, so even if you're told send your CV to this person,
Yes.
you can't just shoot them a thing and say, hey, did you receive it? Is it
Mhm.
fine?
Mhm.
This was emails, and Kenyans
Don't read emails. Yes, I say
You
that.
said it.
Kenyans in Kenya do not read emails. So what year was that you returned?
That
Because
was
you mentioned WhatsApp.
2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were not using
We
WhatsApp.
weren't using WhatsApp.
So even networking was different.
Yes.
And really that's how it's easier to get a job here, is through networking.
Exactly.
And you're right also, they're not, maybe now they've improved, but back then I imagine there weren't job websites. And if they were there, they were not being looked at as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Yeah, we also know that in Kenya, most of the management jobs, mid-level and up, are not always posted because
Exactly.
people network,
Yes.
and that's how they get to know which job is available. So that
Yes.
must have been hard for you.
And people here, because it's such a strong network base, people hire people they know and they trust.
Yes.
And for me, the way I interpret that is people we went to high school with.
Yes.
We went to boarding school together, or we went to campus together, and I
Yes.
didn't have those things.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether I felt that I was competent for the job.
Great.
If they don't know me,
Yeah.
there's a level of distrust that comes up. And I know I can do the job, but they just don't know me. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I know our next episode would be on your career journey back home. So we're going to hold off some of those questions. But so you decide to come home.
Mhm.
You've saved up for 6 months.
Yeah.
Who did you stay with? You didn't have a family. Who did you stay with?
I stayed with my aunt.
Yeah.
So I have an aunt in Langata whose son also was in Canada.
Okay.
So I thought she would be the most logical choice because
Mm.
she also understands what it's like to send a child abroad.
Yes.
So I stayed with her for a few months, and
Mm.
once I got a job, once I passed probation,
Yes.
I don't really think we have probationary periods
Yes.
here.
Yes.
But once I felt that this job was secure, I then
Mm.
moved out.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And were you driving at this time, or?
I got a car, while I was still living with my aunt.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Within the first 3 months.
Probably within the first 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
and independence is very important to me.
Yes.
One of the things I told myself was that I wasn't going to change myself that much. The things that really mattered to me
Yes.
were going to stay the same.
Yes.
I had a lot of independence in Canada, and I walked a lot. I actually didn't own a car, but there was also a really good public transportation system.
Yes. Yes.
So I told myself that for me to get that same feeling that I am, in charge and in control of my life,
Yes.
I need a car.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so important because also here, especially new from the West, taking public means can be a little scary, especially later in the evening.
Yes.
Yeah, so you needed a vehicle for that.
And remember, I don't speak Swahili or Kikuyu.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I have an accent.
Yes.
So it becomes a bigger risk for me. Yes, I look Kenyan on the outside.
Yeah.
But I actually, I can't negotiate with a matatu guy.
Yes.
The minute he hears my voice, it's over.
Once they tell you the amount you shine you down.
Shirley? What? It was crazy.
Wow. Yes, by the way, those have changed. But I always enjoy when we're out together, when guards or other just employees, staff members in restaurants even speak to you in Swahili and you don't know. I just find it so funny that until now, your Swahili is a little broken.
I took Swahili lessons, but I'm just not strong in languages. I used to speak Swahili when I was a kid. It's gone. It's somewhere deep in my brain.
Yeah.
Languages are just not my thing.
Yes.
So I understand most of the time. I'm not confident in speaking.
Yeah. And how do you deal with it when you go up country to visit your relatives there?
At first, it used to bother me because you're not able to speak. They can hear your accent. They're wondering why you don't speak. The first question any Kenyan asks you is that, you don't know?
Imagine.
But over time, I've just decided to not let it bother me.
Yes.
And I have no shame around the fact that, one, I'm not strong in languages, and two, I don't speak this language.
Yeah.
I've been here now almost 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, it's true. And frankly speaking, a lot of the kids raised in Nairobi and that go to group of schools also aren't strong in Swahili and maybe don't even know Kikuyu or their tribal language. So
I actually used to work with a girl who I thought had lived abroad because she had the same accent as me. And when I asked her what country she was from, she just said Kenya. She'd never left Kenya.
Oh, wow.
So there's some group of schools there.
They just don't know.
Yeah, but she was like me. She didn't speak Swahili. She didn't speak anything else. It was just English with this accent.
Yeah. Right. So you got your job. You felt it was stable enough. You moved out of your aunt's place.
Yes.
Tell us about the rest of the transition.
It's, this place is, there's a lot of culture shocks. Mm-hmm. So this is the real thing that's hard to get. It was very difficult. I'm not going to lie. The first 6 months were, brutal because everything you think, everything you think, you think it's going to happen like this. And, we're from the West. We have plans, we have goals, it's 3 months work. In 3 months, I'm going to get a job. It's going to be at this income. Nothing. Kenya does not work that way at all. Yeah. So you have to you're faced with so many challenges. You're faced with so many small insults that you didn't think you would encounter. And there are just so many challenges that it's difficult. Yeah. But once you get some stability with some income, you still have to figure out how to rent a place. You have to buy all your furniture.
Oh, yes. Because you didn't bring any from Canada.
No, I didn't bring anything. So, you have to get sofas made. You have to go to Nakuma to buy fridges. You have to, it's
appliances. Because those come with
apartments.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, gosh, yes.
So you're outfitting a house from scratch on like a salary that's like a fifth of what you used to earn.
Yes.
You don't have a credit card. I mean, it's really challenging. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's over time, you just kind of get used to it. It's not personal.
Yes.
And you keep it moving.
Yeah. And what helped you to overcome the challenges that you were facing?
I think for me, it was really a mental mindset. Because there were times that I was just feeling so low. I was like, I'm never going to get a job. I'm never going to figure this out. And I just said, I'm not going back. This country will not defeat me.
Yes, you refused.
I am from this soil. This country will not defeat me. And I just had to change my mindset that I was going to hack this system. And that's one of the things that I decided was I was going to find out which path.
Yes.
If 85% of the jobs require a master's degree and I don't have one, I'm going to focus on the 15% that don't. If this is required and I don't have it, I'm going to do this. I had to just find ways and hacks to make it.
I really like that. And that's so important for the diaspora who are planning on coming back home is your mindset. That is what really sets you up for success. I remember when I first came, I spoke with a friend who we went primary school with together, and I actually hadn't even seen him since, but he had lived in South Africa and come back. And when I asked him for advice, he told me, Grace, just be flexible.
Yes.
And I think that is one of the most important things or best advice I could have been given. Yes. To just be flexible because we come back with expectations of where we were from.
Whew.
Yes.
And the level that we had achieved.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You
Yes.
literally are even comparing apples to apples. But the truth is, that was a first world country.
Yes.
Things work the way they do there.
Exactly.
But those same things wouldn't even work here if we tried.
Yes.
So it's for us to be flexible and just have the right mindset.
Yes.
Why are we back? And what do we need to do to fit in if we intend to fit in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that to you were not going to go back. Do you still feel that way?
So what I did was I gave myself a goal of where I wanted to be in 3 years. It took me 6 years to reach that goal.
Yes.
But in time, I've also learned to appreciate the positives that I didn't plan for. So I came in with a very strong plan. I was going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it was going to go this way. But I hadn't also accounted for other benefits I would get.
Yeah.
That weren't there, like travel.
Oh, yes.
We
Yes.
both know.
We both know.
Right?
Yes.
This is a beautiful country. The ability to travel around it affordably, to have that peace of mind, eating amazing food, cheap fruit.
Yes, yes.
You know?
Honestly, organic food.
Exactly.
So, yes.
Yeah. So those benefits, and sometimes they feel so trivial to some people, but
Yes.
I really can't explain like the beauty of an unripe mango versus like a $25 salad.
Right.
I can't tell you
Yes.
how great it is to have bought a mango for 40 shillings.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes.
You know, it's something you have to experience for yourself.
It's true.
Yeah.
And also just the way community is here. You know, oftentimes we call each other, sometimes even at the last minute, hey, what are you up to? Can we meet up?
Exactly.
And we work hard. We're still independent.
Yes.
But now we have time for each other as friends.
And that's the beauty of it. This is the way we're able to balance life and work and actually prioritize life.
Yes.
You can't put a dollar value on that.
Honestly, you can't. Many times people ask me, why did you come back? And it's so hard here. And I always say, for me, it's even waking up and finding that the caretaker has washed my car for me.
Exactly.
And then I compared to having to go look for a car wash, and sometimes they were the manual car washes, and I had to learn how to wash a car.
Yeah.
I remember when I would move to a new place and I wanted to put up curtains, I was literally stepping on chairs and drilling into walls, as short as I am. So you just can't compare that.
Exactly.
You mentioned travel. We love traveling, and now we have the option of traveling within Kenya and outside Kenya.
Yeah.
I also travel a lot for work, and I enjoy that I can leave my house a certain way, and when I come back, it's ready to go because someone came and cleaned and cooked.
Yes.
Oh, just saying it.
There are a lot of benefits.
There are.
And people they try to weigh them and they say, okay, but you know, if you buy a vacuum and, you know, if you just organize your Saturdays, you can also clean your house. And it's not saying that I wouldn't clean my house.
Yes.
It's just saying that the gift and the privilege it is to have someone clean your house for you, especially when you hate cleaning.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you can't put a dollar value on that. You can't say that, oh, you know what? Well, it's okay. When you just can't put a dollar value on that.
You really can't.
Yeah.
No. And have you thought of living abroad, whether it's Canada or any other country? Now that you've been in Kenya and you've been here 9 years, would you consider living abroad again?
I think I would.
Yeah.
I think I would. I've been saying that I'm not necessarily married to Kenya. I definitely feel very comfortable here. But I think I know now that I've done it once.
Yes.
I could do it again.
True.
Yeah.
True. That is.
I do think though that now I know what I value is different. Before, you know, I wanted to have a certain job, make a certain amount of money. Those things were very important. But now I really want a quality of life.
Yes.
So because again, the thing about developing countries is that it's really, that's it. It's the quality of life, and you do trade off some income. But if you make a certain income, if you can make that income, your life is really comfortable.
Yeah, you're still able to live a good life
and live a very good life.
Yeah.
So if I can find another country that offers me a really good quality of life, I would say yes.
Yes, that's true. You returned when you were 32 years old. What would you tell a 32-year-old person that's even maybe been away for as long as you were, that wants to return home? What advice would you give them?
I would say that it's not easy, but do it. Do it, especially when you're still when you're still, before you're like 35, and this is if you're single and you don't have kids,
yes,
because it's a whole different scenario when you have family. But if you felt that wherever you're living in is not home,
yes,
you're like, there's just something inside. You can't explain it. But it's not, you're not fitting. So you're like a Lego piece, but from a different company.
Right.
You're not that analogy. Yeah, you're not fitting in.
Yeah.
Then just do it, because you will, yes, it might take you 5 years to kind of reacclimatize and settle here, but the trade-offs will be definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I'd been home I moved back 2018, and a month later, I started now saying hi to friends. My first month, I wanted to just be quiet and not get influenced, from anyone. And the people who saw me in July that had seen me in March when I had visited told me I was glowing. And I was so confused. I remember saying, it is so dusty. It is hot. How am I still glowing? And imagine up until now, I look at my older photos and something's lit up in me.
Exactly.
From being at home. So it's worth it, I would also say.
Yeah, there's a piece here that you can't quantify and you can't really describe.
Yes.
But there's a piece that is here that you feel that is just, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
You've been here 9 years. You're in your 40s. You're wiser now than you were when you were 32 when you moved back. So also knowing what you know now, what would you tell a 40-something-year-old person that wants to return home?
I think, I always give this advice. I think it's a lot harder to make this transition when you're in your 40s.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. I think when you're in your 40s, you're very kind of set in your ways.
Yes.
You know what you like.
Yes.
You know your routines. You know your rhythms. You know it, right? And if, for example, you know that your Sundays are for shopping at Costco.
Yes.
It brings you joy.
Yes.
It's very hard to have a hard reset, especially if it's voluntary.
Yeah.
So I think you'd really have to think of, why are you coming back? And what is it going to mean for you? Because also by the time you're 40 abroad, you've amassed a lot of things.
Yes.
You probably have a house, you have cars, you're at a probably mid-management level at work.
Yes. Yes.
It's, you're now really kind of just waiting for retirement.
Yes.
You're locked.
Yes. It's true. It's true. Yeah. And settled in so well.
And you're settled in really, really well. And I think when you come back here, to have to start from scratch is really difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really, really difficult. I would suggest that always try to find a way of securing that income thing and making sure you have that, or even if it's still there.
Yes.
You can get a remote job.
Yes.
And you're still, getting paid in US dollars, but you live in Kenya.
Yeah.
Then you can try that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, you have more to lose because you're walking away from ideally like a very solid foundation.
It's true.
Yeah.
And harder if you're returning home with family, whether it's a spouse and kids, or even just a spouse, or even just with kids, because many times it might not be someone from here, or even if it's someone from here, maybe they're not ready to come home.
Exactly.
And I know we have examples of people who've come back with spouses and the other person didn't want.
Yeah.
Even relationships here with the same people is very different.
Exactly.
Your kids have gotten accustomed to a certain way of life.
Yes.
And it's different here. So it's definitely something that people have to really think about.
And I have to say, when that advice that you got about being flexible, even me and you, we don't live the exact same lifestyle.
Yes.
We lived abroad.
It's true.
We don't live in like the exact same type of neighborhood, in the exact same type of apartment, driving the exact same type of car.
Yes.
We had to make some adjustments.
We did.
And I think when you're in your 40s and you come back with a family, they are expecting the exact same lifestyle.
Yes.
And to get that here is usually very expensive.
It is very expensive because kids have to go to maybe even international schools, not just group of schools.
They have to go to international schools.
Yes.
Remember, you're buying your cars cash.
Yes.
It's
true. Yeah.
Remember that, if you're still paying for pizza on Fridays, bowling on Saturday, all of this, unless you're making money in US dollars, it's very hard to find even a job in Kenya that will be at that level for you to afford the exact same lifestyle.
You're right. And the kids abroad, at least in the West, they're also very active. They have extracurricular activities. So if they come here and you're looking for those types of extracurricular activities, it's also expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
So those things, the things that sometimes, were taken up or you never paid for there, you have to pay for here.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, I'm so glad you're here. I look forward to us sharing now your career perspective as a returnee. I'll be sharing mine too. And if you found this podcast to be interesting or you'd like to share your experiences, please send us a message. You can also find us on our social media channels at Kenyan_diaspora_returnee. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are.